All right, Brennan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with the one and only, as you can see by the hat, the OGs in the building, Rick Glaser. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, BT. And I had to chase you down, but it's unusual. But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Hey,
You forgot about you forgot about me.
no, well, at
Always.
least, at least it's back-to-back months. Sometimes there's like droughts in the channel, but it's only been 30 days this time. It's not the customary like 90 or 100.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right about that.
yeah. But how have you been over the last month, Rick? How was everything?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Everything's great. I have no complaints whatsoever. Life's great, except for the bad weather here. I live in a suburb of Buffalo called Williamsville, and the weather's really bad around here. I mean, it's gonna be just a couple degrees over zero tomorrow. It's bad. If it wasn't for the stock market booming today, hitting 50,000 points, wouldn't be much good going on. But it did happen, and here we are.
Here we are, and it's great to have you on the channel once again, Rick. A lot of people are wondering. So that people in the comments, Rick, they're asking about your Twitter account, or your X account. Are you back on X yet?
It's in the hands of my attorney right now, and he's contacted Twitter, and he's waiting to hear back from Twitter, and that's been like a week already. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, okay. Well,
I will say that if I don't get my account back up, they don't fix it and put it back up. I'm not going back on Twitter. I will
mm,
not. I will not subject to myself to a second go around of that bullshit.
I understand. Yeah, and you're still on Facebook. You're still making your rounds on all the channels. So, well, it's all good. You're not out of sight. You're still alive.
Yep.
Yeah, but Rick, I know a lot of people have asked you about this, and I know over the years on this channel, especially because we've been doing interviews for a while now. You've spoken a lot about Al Heyman and PBC, and in your words, they're the ruination of boxing and these kind of things. And now it looks like you've been vindicated even more because Floyd Mayweather himself is suing Al Heyman and Showtime for
Well,
apparently.
there's a misunderstanding.
Go ahead. All right,
He's
go ahead.
not suing Al Heyman because Al Heyman already settled out of court,
Okay. Well, he's suing Showtime.
and Stephen Espinoza.
And that's
Correct.
Spinoza.
But I'm sure that part of the deal was that Heyman had to testify against Stephen Espinoza in Showtime. I'm sure of it. You don't make settlements like that without that. So there you go.
Correct. How much more vindicated do you feel now?
Um. Well, I had a well-known boxing person call me this week. I had about 60 people call me, but I had a well-known boxing person call me, and I had a well-known media person call me, and they said, Rick Glaser, they both said you look like the smartest guy in boxing right about now. I says, well, if I'm not, I'm pretty close to it. So what can you say? I mean, I said it all along, and it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. It should have taken this long. It was just Floyd giving Heyman every chance to pay him, and he had 120 million reputedly, supposedly, allegedly of Floyd's money that he had that Floyd let him work with, and he was supposed to get money on that, like interest or dividends or whatever. Didn't get anything, and Heyman stopped taking his calls, and it was ugly. So Heyman is proven to be everything I said he was, and Steven Espinoza is on his way to getting to be proven everything I said he was. So I pick a lot of winners and fights. I haven't had a loser since I picked Fury to beat Usyk. So I think there's a pretty good track record too.
Okay, okay. Uh, Somebody asked in the chat, Rick. They said, "Why wasn't the settlement spoken on or publicized? Is it due to Al Heyman's contract?"
Yeah, it's a stipulation in the settlement that they're not going to talk about it, but at the same time, is he's going to have to testify if called upon.
Okay, and like, is that part of the advisory contract? Because when they sign,
No, No, that's part of the stipulation of the settlement. So he wouldn't sue him.
Okay. What do you think all this means for PBC?
These kind of things don't happen in Japan, by the way. Just want to let you know. I know you're more familiar with that these days, but
Everyone said that. Yeah, they don't happen in Japan because the whole structure of boxing is just different over there. Everything is different over there. But what do you think all this means for PBC, Rick, moving forward? Well,
they have very low credibility now, and it just kills any credibility they may have had left.
Okay. Do you see any way back for PBC and Heyman?
No, Heyman's too old. He's sickly. He's too old, and they can't turn a profit. They've made a culture of overpaying fighters, and you can't substantiate a business model on that. You just can't. You can't overpay. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, the fighter should get more money, get his life." You forget that. The promoter can't turn a profit. What's the sense of the promoter putting on the fights and staying in business?
Correct, because this is still a business at the end of the day. The promoter's
got. As I always say, if you're paying to get into a place, it's a sport. If you're taking the money from the people that are coming in, it's a business.
Okay. As far as like when you say they overpay fighters, right? Because some people may push back and say, well, Eddie Hearn and DAZN have overpaid fighters, and Turkey's overpaying fighters. What's so different to what they're doing than Al Heyman? Like, what's the difference?
Al Heyman was overpaying for rummy fights. These guys are overpaying for quality fights. There's a big difference.
You're saying, okay, so he's creating a culture where you're enabling the fighters to get paid for these mismatches, and then when it comes to the real fights,
they don't want to fight.
Yeah,
because you can't pay them 5 times as much. You can only pay them what you just paid them to fight a rummy, because now you got to pay the other side too.
Correct.
So it's an ugly situation.
No doubt about it. Someone asked in the comments, Rick, do you think this will open the door to other fighters to come after Heyman with his supposed payment plans he would do with said fighters?
I believe it has opened up a definitely can of worms.
Yeah,
I just don't see the figures being as big because the other fighters didn't make nearly as much.
So in the coming months, we're probably going to hear all these PBC fighters coming out and saying, "Hey, Al also owes me money too."
I'm not saying they're going to say that, but it could come out in the form of a lawsuit and some other words beside those. Yes.
Okay. PBC and Heyman aside, do you think this has any? What kind of impact do you feel this has on the sport beyond just PBC? Does it have any impact on the sport beyond PBC?
The sport walks around with 2 black eyes now. I mean, what the hell?
What's a third?
Yeah, come on. There's only 2 eyes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, Rick, I wanted to get your take on Shakur Stevenson. I know everyone's asked you this. He dominated T from Lopez. Was it surprising to you at all the fight?
No. I was shocked that they gave him. I was shocked they gave him a round, and I was shocked that he actually won a round. I didn't think he was going to win, but maybe a round at the most. But they gave him a round that could have won either way. But it was, I call a sympathy round.
Yeah,
they felt sorry for him at that point.
Yeah, someone joked around me and said, "BT, Stacey McKinley is why T.O. won a round instead of 0 rounds."
That's funny.
But
that was funny. I don't. How did he get connected up with them? From the gym in Florida or something?
Well, no. Stacey has always known the Lopez's from even back when Tia was an amateur. He used to come by and get some working.
But you didn't brag to me about it.
No,
I didn't even know about it. I know Stacey well.
Yeah. No, I've known about it for years. He's mentioned it in a couple interviews over the years, and he came on here before the fight, and he was super confident that Tio was gonna go out there.
And I was super confident Shakur was gonna play with him.
Yeah. I didn't think.
What I was surprised about was how easy Shakur busted him up.
Yeah.
That I was shocked about. I mean, I literally busted him up the whole fight. That I was shocked about.
Yeah,
You know,
he filled out real nicely at 140. It like the closer the fight got, when we got to the weigh-in, it felt like, you know, he just filled out a little better than Tio at the weight.
I I don't know. I think you're right, but I have a new theory. And
All
it's
right.
not new. It's new to everybody else, but I've developed a theory, and I've looked at it over the last 3 years.
Okay.
And that old saying, a good big man beats a good little man. That's me when the fighter's moving up. Now, it doesn't count in heavyweights, obviously,
Mhm.
but I'm talking about the little guys, right?
Correct.
All the other weight classes. Okay. So it used to be the bigger guy would beat the little guy coming up, like Salvatore Sanchez beat
Fredo
Wilfredo
Gomez.
Gomez. You
Yeah.
know, all the history of boxing says that, right? I also think now it's flipped around. Here's what's going on. I think these guys are so out of weight class. Let's say Tio, that they strain themselves to make the weight. The guy moving up can use his legs better. Is not as listless,
Yep.
and he's not listless, and he's now got the advantage.
That makes sense. I mean, there's no like they don't have same day weigh-ins anymore, so it makes sense.
Hmm.
Guys can go up and retain energy a lot easier.
Hmm.
Yeah. Who do you think gives Shakur his toughest fight, Rick, and you know in the whole sport of boxing? Because he
Nobody at 35, 40, or 47 beats him. The toughest fight that he would get would be Keyshawn and Haney, because they both have good jabs, but neither of them are beating him.
okay.
First of all, the ring IQ isn't high enough. Number one, he's left-handed. Number two, okay, he's just so he. If you look at Shakur Stevenson and you look at all the other fighters, and Crawford's not fighting; he's retired as of right now. But let's leave Crawford out of the mix.
All right.
If you okay, except for a couple fighters, which would be Shakur and Usyk and Oscar Collazo and maybe Bam Rodriguez. That's it. Every fighter has flaws except those guys. Has serious flaws except those guys.
Like
And
fatal flaws.
what's that?
Like fatal flaws, big flaws.
Yes, yes, has real big flaws. I mean, there's a guy. Everybody told me that Tiafimo had great foot speed and great this and great that. The guy looked like he was knock-kneed the other night and
Yeah.
pigeon-toed at times. I mean, he was. He had no balance whatsoever. He looked like a dog taking a piss out of a fire hydrant.
Yeah, he looked just really uncoordinated in this fight.
Correct.
That
And I believe that, in my opinion, it is that I just don't see any flaws in the guy. The guy seems to have a good chin when he has gotten hit. He's got great ethic. Crawford says he's got work ethic like he had. So where's the flaws? Who's
yeah.
going to beat the guy?
I feel like if stylistically speaking, his toughest test will probably come against another boxer. You know, anybody who comes forward and looks for the fight. I think that plays right into his hands.
Yeah, but they won't have the IQ. They won't have the foot agility, the feet agility that he's got. See, that's what I'm saying to you. They all have flaws.
Hmm.
In other words, the flaws are he's not going to fight Bam. He's not fighting Oscar Collazo, and he's not fighting Usyk. So who else is going to beat the guy?
Well, like, what about? I know there's been a bit of a big deal made about it in the media. What about him and Oshaki Foster? He's a long range guy, can box.
Not a prayer. He's good. He's
Yeah.
good. Oshaki, listen, I'm high on Oshaki. Okay, Oshaki's probably the best 30-pounder in the world, and he can beat 9 out of 10 of the top lightweights. Don't get me wrong. He's not beaten. There's not a prayer that he can beat this guy. This guy is special. This guy is freaky good.
I agree. I agree a lot. Well, with the win, Rick, how high do you rank him pound for pound, Shakur?
Well, it's a weird thing. You've got to rate Usyk really number one because of the accomplishments.
Correct.
But in reality, because he's only 28 years old and Usyk's 39 now. I think if you were to make Usyk a 40-pounder or you were to make Shakur a heavyweight, Shakur would beat him. So there you go.
Okay. Okay. Shakur Stevenson or Bam? Who would you have higher, pound for pound?
Shakur.
Shakur. So
yeah, a little faster. Even though he's bigger, he's faster. And also, I think that his range and distance is just a touch better than Bam. Not much, but he's a little more well-rounded than Bam overall. Just a touch better. I'm high on Bam. I'm high on Oscar Collazo, as you well know.
Yep.
You'll never hear me have a top 10 rating as of right now. When I've been doing it for a year, putting Oscar Collazo in. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Anybody doesn't have it's got a flawed list there.
I hear you. Shout out to my man Trick Nolte. He says, "True School, what's good? Tell Rick I said hello."
Yes, sir.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. I remember Rick when Shakur was getting ready to turn pro, and Devin was already in the pros. There was a lot of discussion about at that time, 10 years ago, who was going to be the better professional fighter, Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson.
Shakur.
My guy, I had Shakur. A lot of people I remember back then were saying Devin. Now we're in a position, Rick, where they might have to fight each other. Shakur might have to go to 47 to get his big.
It's not even. Believe me, he's going to play with him.
Yeah. Why do you feel that way? Why don't you give
it ring IQ, footwork, ring IQ, everything? Forget about that. Ryan Garcia used a performance enhancing drug, because mind you, it was not a steroid. It was a weight reducer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you saw what Haney was all about. He couldn't get out of the hook. He was getting hit with body shots, continually. He didn't know what to do half the time. He's a great front runner, Haney, but when he's getting whacked back, he don't look so good no more.
Correct. Even I think even in the Norman fight, he dropped Norman early, but even in the Norman fight, things got a little tighter towards the end of the fight. Devin wasn't winning those rounds as definitively as the fight wore on.
Devin's a lucky guy. I'll leave it like that.
Bill Haney's a great manager.
Come on. One fighter managers are never great. They're riding the right horse. They're riding a good horse.
Well, you call him lucky, and then you're saying Bill's not a great manager. So which one is it? He's got to be.
Well, he's a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter. He's gotten lucky. Lucky was that what's his name was on a weight reducing drug. He got lucky and he got a decision against Lomachenko. I mean, the guy's gotten lucky.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Well, yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but his luck doesn't make Bill Haney great. That's for sure.
All right, fair enough. Shakur got stripped by the WBC after the fight. What do you make of that, Rick?
Well, you didn't pay the $100,000 fee that was due to the WBC, and of course they're going to strip him. They didn't get paid. He went the Crawford route, but that just shows you didn't plan on staying at 135. That's all that showed.
So if he's not going to stay at 135, I know you're not picking no one to beat him, from 135 to 47. But is there a particular matchup that you would like to see at 140 pounds? Of the champion?
Him. It's not going to happen. It's him and Keyshawn. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So, which Shakur beat him too. You already said it already. So, well, you mentioned Keyshawn, right? I actually want to ask you about him. What about Keyshawn versus Devin Haney at 47?
That's a hard fight to pick. That's an even fight.
Yeah. Why is that one even?
Because you're taking a guy who can punch, who's got speed, and he doesn't have the greatest footwork in the world. He comes forward, he puts a lot of pressure on you. Keyshawn, he can do that. It's a hell of a fight. It's an even fight. And don't forget, Devin's got a lot more experience in big fights.
Correct, because I think what Keyshawn has, just in period, Keyshawn only has 13 or 14 fights in the pro ranks.
Yeah, and one of them, he only won the title. He never defended it, right?
Correct. He missed.
Came in overweight. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. As far as what Shakur getting stripped, a lot of people have been saying, Rick, that because they feel like it's unjust that he got stripped, and they feel like now that he's been stripped and there's all this politics, there's this politics and boxing going on at a bad time because Zuffa Boxing's coming in. They feel like with Shakur getting stripped, it's further legitimizing.
He didn't pay. Listen. He didn't pay the sanctioning fee.
No, I'm with you. I'm just going off what I see on social media.
No, you don't pay the sanction fee. You're going to get your ass stripped.
I'm with you.
It's plain and simple. Obviously, he didn't plan on staying at 135 pounds, or he would have paid the 100,000, right?
Correct.
Well, it's a moot point, really.
A lot of boxing fans don't understand what the heck the point of sanctioning fees are. Rick, you've been in the fight game for a long time. What do sanctioning fees do? What's the benefit?
Well, let me explain what a title does. Mm-hmm. Okay, you fight for you're a regular guy. You're fighting in regular fights. You're 25 to a $50,000 fight. You fight for the world title. You're a $200,000 fighter. This is not heavyweights now. You win the world title. All of a sudden, you're 500,000 and up. And you win that world title. So obviously, the titles are worth the money. You pay 3%. Okay, and 500,000, you pay $15,000. They were going to take 1% of his purse. I guess he maybe made 10 million, or maybe 1.1% of his purse was settled. It was 100,000 for the 9 million he got. Shakur, I believe it was. Make a long story short, it was a step aside fee. And they're entitled to it. He wouldn't be the guy that he is without that title.
Correct.
He had leverage to get that kind of money. So I think it's more than justified. I think the timing was bad. Just like the old timing was bad for O'Shaquie Foster. He won the interim title and they stripped him 2 days later. And the same thing here. You should wait 2 weeks and say, listen, let us know if you're going to pay the sanctioning fee. Let us know within 2 weeks. Well, they basically told him, and we're not paying it. So they just stripped him.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
And I love how all these organizations and the Andre Wards of the world always side with the fighter against the organization. Well, guess what? Okay. Sometimes the fighter is wrong.
Yeah. Because the fighter doesn't understand the overall scope of the fight game at times. They can see.
They never do. Very few do.
You've dealt with a lot of fighters over the years, Rick. Of course, what's that like dealing with the fighters? You
want me to complain? I was in a good mood. You mentioned that.
No, complain. I'm asking you to complain.
It's brutal. They don't get things, and then you tell them stuff. They go home. They tell their wife, "Oh, Rick, I don't understand." You get the wife on the phone. I go, "What the fuck? I didn't sign up for this."
Yeah.
I don't even handle fighters anymore. I'm long past it.
Yeah.
All my business is corporate now. So fuck it.
My experience with fighters, they're just real moody. That's the word I'll use. They're very, very moody.
Yes, and part of that is because of the fact that they have to lose weight, and you always see them when they're in the process of losing the weight, or after the fight when they lose, they're in a bad mood again. So if they win, you're after the fight, okay, they're in a good mood. But then everybody starts, okay, well, you owe the trainer this, the manager that, this, that, the 3%, the 2%, the 1%. What the fuck? There's nothing left for me. This is what you signed up for.
The tax man,
It's brutal.
I saw Mike Tyson say one time that basically the boxing industry is designed to keep the fighters broke. What do you think about that?
No, that's not true. That's a stupid statement. What, he was making a minimum of $25 million a fight? Come on.
He was saying the fight. It doesn't really benefit the fighters until there's not really managers or things around him to take the money from his person.
Mike, no, please. People got to stop listening to Mike Tyson. Seriously.
All right. Shout out to the Nobody 92. He wants to know from you, Rick, what are your thoughts on Zuffa Boxing thus far?
Except for the Callum Smith main event,
Callum
they
Hall.
put on a real good show the first one and a great show the second time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what their third one looks like. It looks good. They're putting together the fights. Good fight. I'm not saying they're fight people want to see, but at least they're good fights.
Yeah, and I think it's giving a lot of fighters who don't normally get a chance a platform to showcase their skills. So that there's that
Correct.
aspect of it.
Correct.
Yeah, there's gonna be some fighters that break out because of Zuffa Boxing.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to I think this is Pops. He says, blessings to Rick and his wife. How successful do you think Zuffa Boxing will be?
They will be successful. It's going to take 2 to 5 years, but they will be successful.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
they're successful now, but to reign towards the top, 2 to 5 years. It'll start happening in about 2 years, and then in about five, they should be right around the top.
do you see Zuffa Boxing being successful? Do you see it as a detriment to like companies like Pro Box or Overtime Boxing?
Well, overtime's not even business anymore.
Are they not?
No,
They got out?
you didn't get the memo.
No, I didn't get I didn't get it. No.
They're not in business.
Damn. Okay. Well, what about Pro Box?
I think it's going to hurt because they're driving up the prices, Zuffa on the lower level guys. So it's going to be hurt. It's hurt, and I've had this discussion with a couple of the smaller outfits, and they're going to have to bring fighters in from South America and Central America and pay for the P1 visas. Those guys will fight cheaper. So that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, because I feel like Zuffa is a direct threat to Pro Box because they're trying to do the same type of thing. Developmental shows.
But there's enough room for both of them.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. But you just never know in this boxing economy and industry. Let me see. Okay, so I asked about. Oh, what did you think about like some of the Zuffa signings, like Opataya and Delos Santos, and they try
Well,
to
as far as
make
Opataya, Dana backtracked real quick. We don't need the organizations, we're going to go with the Zuffa belt. Well, guess what? He shit out himself with that statement.
Yeah, because Opataya wants to go undisputed. He wants to try to go undisputed.
Right, obviously.
Yeah.
So he shit out. He had a backtrack over his own dead body on that one.
Do you think that eventually like they'll clamp down and say, Jai, like you got a decision to make. It's either gonna be this IBF.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think his deal's probably long enough to worry about that with them.
Okay. I'm sure you heard that they try to they made Bam Rodriguez an offer and then Matcham had to match the offer. What did you think about that?
I think to save face, no matter what they offered, Eddie was going to match it.
Yeah, because that's one of his franchise guys, pretty much.
That's the only one he's got right now because I don't know if the Anthony Joshua will ever lace up a pair of gloves again. We'll see.
You don't think Jarrell Ennis is a franchise type fighter?
No.
Today on Twitter, I was going on a bit of a tirade about Jarrell Ennis because that Josh Kelly signed that contract with Boots before the Bachram fight. He wound up winning the fight, and
He
now
didn't sign anything with Boots. He signed it with his promoter, Eddie Hearn, who promotes the same other guy.
Correct.
Okay.
And he got in the interview and he basically started saying, I'm going to explore my options, and he mentioned potentially fighting Xander Zayas, and I said pretty much that Jarrell Ennis put himself in this position. He didn't try to go to 54 and fight Bachram or do anything to get leverage. What do you think about that whole scenario, Rick, with Josh Kelly now being champion?
Both exactly how I feel. I have my own gut feeling about Jarrell Ennis, and it ain't good. I'll leave it like that.
To quote you in previous lives, when you think about Jarrell Ennis, you don't really think about heart. That's what we said in our last live.
Correct.
if he,
I think he's a front runner.
yeah, all flash and no substance.
He wasn't. He was calling out Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford said yes. You never heard from him again. Hold it up like a pop tent. Okay, come on now. Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford eat his lunch and oh my God, it'd be
How many
embarrassing.
rounds?
5-6.
Oof. He's not even going to the second half of the fight.
Nah.
Damn. Okay.
And could he get knocked down in the sixth, get up and go back to the corner and quit on a stool, and it's the seventh round? Yeah, on the bell ring, yeah, not come out, that's the seventh round. Yeah, it could happen, but it's not going too far.
Okay. Well, Rick, if Boots can't get the Kelly fight, what do you think is next for him? If he can't get the Josh Kelly fight,
keep pounding that heavy bag in the gym.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think anybody's too excited to fight him. What do you think you'll get? Some other middle, what do they call the Eastern European fighters? Come on,
Maybe
Pakistani, it's somebody that wants to get paid.
Yeah,
there's no meaningful fight out there for him. He could have fought Bakram there, but he chose not to.
Yeah.
I got to give Josh Kelly all the substance in the world, except that's not boxing. That was running. He wasn't throwing punches, for Christ's sake.
So you didn't like his performance against Bakram? Too much circling the ring for you?
Fuck that! I mean, that shit made me dizzy, for Christ's sake. I wasn't even there ringside.
Well, he did drop him. He did score a flash knockdown.
Yeah, he did, but overall, it was not eye appealing. That's for sure. There was not, unless you knew Josh Kelly personally or you're a fellow countryman, that was not exactly a scintillating performance.
Yeah, and truthfully, like I think if that fight's not in the UK, it might have been a draw. It's not in the UK. Thought it was pretty close.
Okay, but nobody needed Bakram to win. It's a main event.
Yeah, well, I thought
he can't sell a ticket. Nobody wants to fight him. But there's a fallacy about why nobody wanted to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him because they don't want to deal with the rehydration clause in the 2-day weigh-in, and the rehydration clause the IBF orders so it's not really what people think it is. It wasn't because Bakram is so good. They just didn't want to deal with the rehydration and the 2-day weigh-in. So that was the issue.
What's your take on the IBF rehydration clause? Because I feel like some fighters use it as an excuse.
No good.
You don't think it's no good?
No, it's an outlier of the other three organizations. They're the only ones that does it. So it's no good. It's an outlier of the other organizations.
Don't you think though, like certain fighters are very big for the weight class and they're sucking down to get an advantage?
Everybody weighs in the day before the fight, and nobody else requires second day weigh-in. So I think it's bullshit.
Okay, fair enough.
Now the other way around, if the other three organizations required second day weigh-ins and they didn't, okay, I would say they need to do second day weigh-ins.
Okay.
So I'm not testing to the rule. I'm looking at the percentage of 3 out of 4 organizations don't do it.
Okay, so basically, essentially, you're just saying that it's bullshit because they're just trying to be different, and they should.
Not trying to be that. What the reason is, I don't know, but they're an outlier. Once you're an outlier, something's wrong.
Okay. What do you think about Josh Kelly versus Xander Zayas if it does wind up happening?
I think Zayas is good. Got good enough. Is real big for the weight class, and has a real good jab and real good footwork, and I think he would beat him because Josh is not a big puncher. Forget about the one knockdown against. He's not really a puncher, and Zayas is going to be tough to beat because he's got good foot speed and he moves around good, and he's strong. He's in good shape.
I've seen Zayas, even though he's a unified champion, getting a lot of criticism because they say, well, he's not really fighting he hasn't really fought anybody that great.
Well, hold on. He fought the WBA world champ.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I push back on these things, but
No. I know. I'm saying to everybody listening. I mean, you can't do better than what he just did. He fought a world champion, fellow world champion, a unification bout,
yeah, I mean,
and wasn't overpaid to do it. He wanted to fight.
correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. Wasn't Top Rank trying to get him to fight like Giovanni Santillan for his first fight?
Yeah.
And he said no. Give me the champion.
Yeah, he said, I can't get up for a fight like that. I want another champion.
Yeah. I love that about Xander. Have you seen these reports about Devin Haney wanting to fight Xander at 54? Bill Haney's been saying that they're considering
Xander?
Yeah, that Devin Haney is considering going up to 54 to challenge Xander.
I didn't hear about it. No.
Oh, what do you think about that?
Top Rank's not doing that because we don't even need to discuss that.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
They don't have Devin Haney. He's okay, and this kid can become a huge draw between Puerto Rico and New York City. There's no way that they do that fight.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I mean, there's no way Peter Khan is not going to do anything other than Xander Zayas' next fight on Puerto Rican Day weekend, no matter who it's against. It's Kelly or somebody in the top 15.
Correct.
Shout out to my guy Nobody 92. He said he wants to know from you, Rick, what is next for Carlos Adames?
Well, he couldn't make the weight, so he faked an illness when he went to the hospital. Faked he was sick when he was he just simply dehydrated. Typical scam by PBC, normal shit.
Okay. Here's a good question, Rick. What do you think about the Super Matias stoppage in the Dalton Smith fight? Was it a good stoppage in your opinion?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stop.
Okay. What else we got?
What about that fraud, Andy Cruz?
Fraud? You call him a fraud? Why?
I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it since the first time I saw him.
Why is he a fraud though? He lost. It was a close fight.
Oh, you're supposed to be all this great two-time gold medalist and gonna walk over everybody and is so great and stuff. Fucking shit the bed.
Now they're gonna move him down to 130.
Yeah, no excuse. All of a sudden they realize when he's standing next to the other guy, all of a sudden, oh, he's not a 35 pounder, he's a 30 pounder. Little late now, guys. You exposed him as a fraud.
Well, on a positive note, Ryan Murataya, he fought a very, very
he's an excellent fighter. He's got a very, very high ring IQ. He puts his punches together very well. He's got good power, great jab, good footwork. Nothing negative to say about him. Good fighter, good complete fighter. Top Rank time with him. They developed him. They developed him very, very well, and he looked great in the process.
I thought it was arguably his best performance of his career because I remember when he fought Tevin Farmer and Zolani Ndengeni, he didn't look so great.
I agree, but I think he's one of those kind of guys he has to get up for the moment to be great. I think Shakur's like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think he's like that. I think that I think there's certain fighters that are just like that.
I know even from I know Angelo Leo's like that.
There you go.
A lot of guys like that in boxing. They need that.
Is it Leo or Leo? Because every time I talk to somebody, I get one out of the two pronunciations.
Yeah, people always say Leo. I say Leo. He don't correct me about it. So
he looks like a Leo to me.
Yeah.
Leo.
I go with Leo. Hey Rick, by any chance because someone in the chat they said they claim that supposedly Frank Warren has made Angelo Leo an offer. Have you heard anything about Angelo Leo getting an offer?
I have not heard a word about it.
Okay, because I haven't either, and I talk to them pretty frequently. So the guy in the chat who said that we haven't received anything yet. So we'll wait.
That doesn't mean they're not going to make an offer, or maybe they're making an offer and it's not one that maybe that either Top Rank or maybe Top Rank said no. You know what I mean? And come back with something better, then we'll present it to the fighter. We don't know that, but I never heard about it if it did.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. So We'll see. We'll see. The featherweight division is getting real hot, Rick. Bruce Carrington lit the world on fire with that knockout of Carlos Castro. Well, what?
That's another thing. Let's talk about Bruce. I love the guy. Great
Yeah,
personality. I love his enthusiasm. He's another Angelo Leo in the same weight class. Can punch. Got a great personality. He's got a nice charm to him. It's charisma, I guess you call it. And a woman you call it charm, and a guy you call it for charisma.
charisma. Yeah.
Charisma. But and they could both punch. And I was very, very, very impressed with Carrington the other night.
Yeah, because Carlos Castro, he's never gotten over the hump in the big fights, but nobody's ever put him out on his back like that. That was
he caught him with a good 4-piece. Believe me, that was a tremendous 4-piece.
What do you think about Shushu against the other champions, Rick?
Well, let's say that Anui was to move up to 26. That's the fight the world would want to see. With his personality, being an American undefeated world champion, I don't see him as a Stephon Fulton. I see him as a real fighter.
So you think he's more of a threat to Inoue than Stephen Fulton was?
Because he can punch.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember when I asked you about that fight a couple years ago, you were like, Stephen Fulton has no chance in hell, and he didn't. he didn't.
I'm always right. What the fuck? What's everyone gonna realize in this?
Yeah, no, he's definitely injected a lot of life into the division. Is there a particular matchup for Shushu you want to see more than the others at featherweight?
Him and that Espinoza, the Rafael Espinoza, would be a great fight. Him and Angelo Leo would be great. They're all real good fights.
Yeah, because the featherweight.
My wife has a great line. Rick, I know how smart you are because I have to listen to you every day. But he says the world must be pretty stupid if they're not paying attention to you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people complain to me all the time about the featherweight division not unifying. So hopefully we get some of those fights done this year.
I agree.
Yeah. Does Shushu remind you of any fighters from the past?
Not really. Just a very unique guy. His personality, you can't wait. He's one of those kind of fighters you can't wait till he starts talking after the fight's over.
That's very true. Because
most of you want to plug your ears. I'm waiting to hear what he's got to say. I turn off the cell phone. I put it on mute. The sound off. Yeah, the sound off. The ringer off. I turn the TV up. I tell my wife, shh, I'm listening. Right? Because he just has got this great personality. He talks intelligently, and he's not looking at the ground. Just he's got his shit together. Best way to put it.
I agree. Rick, did you see the whole thing that happened when Tiger Johnson got jumped by Devin Haney's team? And if you did, what do you think about that?
Very ugly. There's no reason to have some big lug bodyguard around you. It's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's classless. And Tiger Johnson deserves better than that.
Yeah.
That's
they got to fight next.
You had to ask me about Jarrell Miller's toupee.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. What about Jarrell Miller's toupee?
That was the funniest thing I ever saw in boxing. The Mike Tyson thing when he bit the ears wasn't funny. You were just so startled that it happened, right?
Yeah.
It looked like a lid coming off, like the can opening up. It was like, what the hell? It was funny. You got to admit.
No, it was. What's even crazier is as greater a performance as Shakur Stevenson had. I feel like that was the thing that made the most noise outside of boxing because you got Jarrell Miller going on Jimmy Kimmel.
He was on every show, The Breakfast Club. He was on this show and this video, national news. Everybody showed it. It was great. It was. It's a funny thing. They never show anything good about boxing on like ESPN Sports Center and all these shows. But when something fucked up happens, that makes boxing look like a clown show.
Yeah,
That was. I got to tell you, that was very funny.
Yeah, definitely like one of those random moments that only boxing could produce. Like, even like
Yeah, and I like Jarrell Miller. I know he's got his pros and cons, and a lot of people don't like him because of the drug, the PEDs. But I like him. He's got a good personality. He's fun to be around. I was with him at the Pro Box show. You were there that night, and I didn't see you, but you were there hiding from me. You don't owe me any money, so you didn't have
sick.
to.
I was actually sick.
Oh, you were?
I was sick. Yeah, I shouldn't even have been there, but I was at the top.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, Jarrell sat right next to my wife and I, and I told her, kidding her, I said, guard your purse. He just got out of prison.
Yeah, I like Jarrell too, man. I had
You didn't just get out of prison. I was just kidding her.
No, I know. But yeah, no, he's got a great personality. I remember interviewing him 10 years ago at the Heavyweight Factory. Always fun to talk to.
Good guy.
Yeah. Well, Rick, staying in the heavyweight division, what do you think about Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora? It's a interesting event. Wilder still going on about Fury.
It's a guy who on one side of the aisle is one side of the pond is the Brits adore to Chisora, and they want to see Wilder over there. Wilder got knocked out twice by Fury, and they want to go over there and see him, and they want to come over here, and it's going to be a big fight. It's going to be a very big fight, believe it or not. I mean, a shot. One guy's in his early 40s, I believe, and one guy's in his late 30s, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big fight. So it's got about 80 years between them, and it's going to be a big fight. And they're both shot. So it's going to be, it might be one of those George Foreman, Ron Lyle fights where both guys are knocked down multiple times, So,
yeah. I'm excited about it. Sometimes, a good old guy fight, two guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Wilder's still going on about the Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he's not allowed in the country because he cheated. But get the fuck out of here. Jesus, is that stupid? He's the guy's a clown. Seriously, he disrupts my stomach.
Yeah, he sounds confident about it, though. He said, if you got sue me for defamation of character if you're a problem, he's begging him to get sued.
It wouldn't turn out well for Mr. Wilder, trust me.
All right. Oh, you know what, Rick? Oscar De La Hoya, he signed that deal with Swerve TV. What's the whole deal with that? Is Golden Boy actually going to have cards?
It's library content. It's not new. That's not live events.
No, I saw he said that, but I wanted to get your take on it because I know you're close to Oscar.
It's good. It's a good situation for him.
When he says library, like it's just you can go back and watch old Golden Boy fights. Is that what that is?
I don't know, but I know it's the content that they've acquired over here in their library, in their video library.
Okay, yeah, because at first I was like, because I remember you were saying that Oscar is gonna get a deal with some LA-based TV network, and
right. That's not it.
That's not it. Okay, all right.
No, I said he could get one. Might stay with his own. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Rick, what are your thoughts? There's these three young fighters. I never asked you about any of them, but what do you think about like guys like Yohan Elise Hernandez and Carmel Moten and Atif Overton as like emerging talents in the sport? What do you think about those guys?
Not much.
Not much at all? Are you familiar with them?
Of course I am.
Okay.
One's the Cuban, one's the Moten, Floyd's latest protege, and then the other guys with Marshall Kaufman. He's out of Philly. He's a left-handed light heavyweight. I know every fighter, bro. You can't. Now you might listen. You might stump me some guy from Japan, some obscure guy in Japan. Don't get me wrong, but you're not. As a general rule, you're not going to stump me.
I'm not trying to stump you. I'm just asking. I'm just making sure that that we're on the same page here.
Yeah, they're all right, all three, but they're not what they're cranked up to be.
Okay. Why not Atif Overton? Why do you think he's not what he's cranked up to be?
He's been dwelling in the minor leagues for fucking ever now. Look up on Backtrack. How long has he been a pro?
Yeah, let me see. Teeth.
Fucker's never been in a big in a step up fight yet.
He's only been pro. He turned pro in 2021.
Okay, and he's never stepped up.
He fought what's left of Von Alexander and knocked him out in one round.
Who, Vaughn?
Yeah, he fought Vaughn in December. Yeah.
You just said it. What's left of? That's not a step up fight.
I mean, for him, it was that was the best.
Hot Rod's a step up fight for him.
Do you think he could be Hot Rod?
I don't know. We'll see. That would show you if he's going anywhere or not.
I think he'd be Hot Rod.
The rate he's going, and never find out.
Well, I like Atif. I think he's pretty good.
He may be eventually, but I mean, what are they waiting for?
I don't know. That's probably a Marshall Kaufman question. I got to get Marshall Kaufman on here, or Atif himself. Rick, I seen today Canelo Alvarez was talking about a Terrence Carr rematch. He was saying that in the first fight he struggled because he had cramps. I don't know if you saw that today. He did an interview on Rematch.
The woman?
That's what I said. He said that he had cramps and he was unable to perform to the best of his abilities in the rematch because of this. What do you think about that in a
fight played out exactly how I thought it was going to be played out. Now he's coming up with excuses. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he got that one from. I'm surprised he said cramps. Like, normally Mexican fighters don't say things like that.
No, they're too macho normally. But I guess when you look at excuses, you'll say anything.
Correct. Shout out to the Nobody. He says, "What are Rick's thoughts on Rohan Polanco?"
Oh, he's another one like Carlos Adames. He missed the weight drastically. He was dehydrated and missed the weight. Couldn't make the weight.
These Dominicans, man, I don't know what it is. They keep missing weight. It's all that Dominican food.
That's why what I said earlier.
Yeah. Shout out to Pops. He says, "Hit that like, super chat. Thank you all for the support on the way to 100,000 subscribers." This is true. This is very, very true. We're at 90,000 now. We said 90,000. Huh?
How many subscribers you got?
I'm at 90,000. Yeah, 90,000.
I am impressed.
Yeah, thank you. Been at it a while, as you know. Rick, with you being in the boxing game for so long, what do you feel has been the biggest challenges of the boxing business to navigate over the years?
The stupidity of so many. Deal with daily.
What's the stupidest thing that's happened to you recently in your business dealings that you could speak on?
Well, how something stupid? Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. I couldn't be in a meeting. I was sick. This is after I got back from Florida, and I was sick. And I was supposed to fly somewhere and be in a meeting with three other guys. I'm sorry. So I sent a lawyer to represent me, and I paid for a meal over the phone, my card, and it was $700. And what did they do? I got no result at all. What did they do? Just eat and laugh all night? I mean, it's just stupid shit. I mean, they didn't get anything done. And unless you do it yourself and you grab the bull by the horns, you can forget it. Shit don't get done in this business.
Yeah, it's very, very cutthroat, and no one's gonna help you.
Yeah, but it's not only that; it's just that they get drifted off why they're there. I have a rule of thumb when I have a business meeting: no cocktails until after we complete the business portion of this conversation.
It's a good policy. How is it changed? Like in the last 30 years? How has boxing?
Yeah, big thing. When I first started in the business in 1991, I started January 1st, 91, and I'm celebrating or observing 35 years. That's why we got the OG hat. See, and on the back it says GlaserBoxing.com. It's EST, established 1991. Right? Okay. And by the way, new era. See that? New era. See that?
Yep.
Okay. So what is it? The difference? I'll tell you the difference. You used to call up a manager for a fight,
Mm-hmm.
and he should negotiate you with you for 2-3 minutes and just say, "Okay, I'll take the fight." Today, you call a guy manager up, and he said, "Well, I got to talk to the trainer, the fighter. The fighter's got to talk to his wife. We got to talk to the sponsor. Blah blah blah." And oh my God, the list of the people that need permission to make a fight is just brutal. And now, instead of them saying yes, oh, well, I'll get back to you. Give me 2-3 days. What? 2-3 days? This fight's getting made in 5 minutes, motherfucker.
Correct. So basically, when it comes down to it, like these guys don't want to fight like they used to.
Right. Exactly. And the managers ask the trainer. See, it used to be that the fighters and the managers and the trainers were in the gym with the fighters years ago. Today, all these managers are really lawyers or financiers today. It's only the fighter is in the gym with the trainer.
Yeah, I agree. A
So
lot of
the person closest to the fighter.
mm-hmm. And a lot of the managers are business people, and they work remote, and they're not even there really. Like
That's what I just said. It's exactly. Yep.
Financiers. Do you feel like a lot of times with managers these days that they overmanage the fighters? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Here's a problem we have today. They got $100,000 invested in the fighter. You call him up and offer him $100,000 for a fight, and he says, "Well, if he loses, I can only get 25,000 of my money back, and if he loses, I my guy's not going anywhere." And he says, "Yeah, but to get to the $250,000 fight, you need to win the $100,000 fight."
correct. Because
You don't understand that. It's they don't want to do it because they got too much money in the fighter. So that's a problem right there.
correct. And like a lot of these fighters don't understand that when you get in the ring, you're not fighting for your check that night. You're fighting for the next check.
Correct. That was what I said. You'll go from making 100,000 to 250, 300 in your next fight. So
Correct.
it's exactly what the situation. And you try to tell a man, yeah, but if he loses, okay, then he goes out and fights again. He wins. He gets a bigger fight again, and you recycle him. It's hard. It's hard to deal with some of these people.
Who's the easiest manager to deal with in boxing?
There is none.
None. They're all hard.
No. The easiest fighters are the easiest fighters to deal with are fighters that don't know their father. They're orphans.
That don't know their father?
Yeah, they're orphans. They're the easiest fighters to deal with.
Why? Because the father is too overprotective? Is that what it is?
Yeah, father's overprotective, and the guy doesn't know who his father is, or he doesn't have a relationship with his father. He'll say yes, not. Oh, I got to talk to my dad. Oh, it's brutal.
I hear you. Shout out to the Nobody 92. He says, Rick, what are your thoughts on J. Russell Peltz Boxing?
I like Russell. Russell refuses to talk to me because I put his kid down one night, his son. His son insulted me, and I shot back. And Russell's a one-way street. There's the streets named after him in Philly. They're called One Way.
Yeah. I know he's been not anymore, but I know he was involved in the Philadelphia boxing scene for a long time, as far as making the fights, things like that.
Yeah, now he's involved with the Boca Tennis League. At the over 55 is over 75. Come to think of it.
Yeah. Rick, what do you think about tomorrow's fight with Nick Ball and Brandon Figueroa?
Fun fight. Looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
What time does that go? What time does that go on the Zone tomorrow?
The main event will be at 5.
No, what time does the show start?
Oh, 2:15. 2:15.
2:15. Okay,
2:15.
good.
Yep. Main event's 5:15. You You favoring either one of those guys in the fight, Figueroa or
Too hard a fight to figure. Uh, Figueroa is hot and cold. He's a sharpshooter. Nick Ball's a strong guy, tenacious, tough guy, well conditioned. It's tough. I would favor the hometown guy and the guy that didn't have to travel overseas.
okay, okay, yeah, it's good. It'd be a really good fight, and if Nick Ball handles business, that opens up all those great featherweight unification fights.
Yep.
Yeah. What's been your take on Nick Ball, Rick, so far? Like, come from the UK.
Good condition, fun to watch, and it can't be in a bad fight. It's always in a good fight.
Yeah. Still, I remember you said it's still no chance in hell against Inoue.
Who?
Nick Ball.
No, he's got no chance with it.
How about him versus the other champions, Carrington, Espinoza, and Leo?
I don't think he beats any of them.
Damn. Okay. So
that doesn't mean he's not entertaining, and he's a big draw, and he's not entertaining because he is.
Yeah, very.
But he just can't beat those kind of guys.
With that particular style, I understand. Who are there any easy promoters? I asked you about managers. What about promoters, Rick? Who's the easiest promoter to deal with in boxing, if there is one?
The nicest or the easiest?
You can do both, nicest and easiest.
Nicest, Eric Gomez. He's president of Golden Boy. He's a gentleman. He's a man of his word. He's a classy guy. He says he's going to call you back at a certain time. He calls you back. He says he's going to do something for you. He does it. You don't have to remind him. He's a real professional. He's a great boxing guy. He's a great executive, and he's a great human being. Yeah,
I know he's one of those guys that worked his way up. Like, he did everything to get to where he's at in boxing. So you got to respect him.
He used to number the chairs in Oscar's early shows. He was the matchmaker, director of boxing, and now he's president, and he deserves it. He's good. He's a great man. Great guy.
He's the nicest. Who's the easiest? Who's the easiest to deal with? Is it also
nobody?
Nobody.
Probably the easiest, because even if he's tough, he's still classy.
Who?
Eric.
So
yeah, Eric Gomez.
Eric Gomez or everybody.
Lee Eaton, who's the director of boxing for Frank Warren, he's a real classy guy too.
Who?
Lee Eaton.
Oh yeah, Lee Eaton. Yeah. I know Lee Eaton.
Ton.
Yeah, Lee Eaton.
He's a real quality guy himself.
Yeah, but Rick, I pretty much asked you everything I needed to ask you, man. You were great as always.
There's nothing else. That is.
I mean, boxing kind of slow. There's not like a ton going on right now. Yeah,
you're the only guy that hasn't asked me about Moses and Puma lately.
Well, because I've asked you about Moses. I asked you about Moses last month, but I mean, do you have anything to say about Moses Itama?
No, because yes, it's no.
Like, I would have asked you if he had something going on to talk about. I would have asked you. It would have been in the notes.
He looks great so far.
Yeah. But let me see. Oh, well, you know what? Who do you feel now with Canelo being gone? Or not gone, but like, in the twilight. Who's the face?
He's gone. As a Gonzo.
Who do you feel is the face of boxing, if there is one?
I think you'd have to go by continent right now.
Okay.
I think Inoue in Japan. I think in the Eastern European countries and in Europe, I would say Usyk. I would say in the United States, even though he's retired right now, it's still Crawford. And even though he's retired, but he's still people, his retirement is so fresh that let's count him as still the biggest thing out there. And I think Shakur's moving up the ladder real fast.
Yeah, that Tio fight was a big thing for him. Big moment in his career, for sure. Who do you have in the Navarrete versus Sugar Nunez fight later this month?
I don't like. I'm not a Navarrete fan. I think I think he's exciting fights, but an ugly style.
Correct.
I'm not. It's a hard fight to judge. I don't know. I really don't. It's going to be a good fight, but I don't know who's going to win that fight.
Man, this is the first time we've gotten a couple I don't knows from you. So these are some good fights coming up. Navarrete Nunez, Ball Figueroa.
Certain things that when I favor a fighter over another fighter, and none of those fighters have those advantages or disadvantages.
What are the advantages you normally look for?
Well, if I told you, you'd be doing it, and I wouldn't have a fucking job.
I got you. I knew you would say some crazy shit like that.
It's like the famous line about the mafia. If I tell you, I gotta kill you.
I gotta kill you. I know how it goes. I know how it goes. MEZBX says, "What's up with Usyk and his new promotional company? Is Usyk still working with Turkey Al Sheikh?"
Absolutely.
Yeah. Garcia Barrios. What about that one? I'll be there soon.
You know, coming off the Haney fight, I would say that he would beat Barios, but coming off the Rolly fight, he looked so bad. I mean, he looked like 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag.
Yeah, it was bad. Like,
yeah, I can't give you one. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, to me, Garcia is so hot. Right, Ryan Garcia is so hot and cold. I don't know.
We began the live talking about Shakur Stevenson. You know, I forgot to ask you about Shakur Stevenson versus Conor Benn.
Please, gross mismatch. Oh,
that like people got carried away and they said T.O. was like Gotti versus Ward. I feel like that would be like Gotti versus Ward, or Gotti versus Mayweather, I should say.
Conor Benn would be another fighter looking like a dog taking a piss on a fire hydrant in that fight.
Yeah, because he's not on that level. He never even won the Southern Area title. You know, he never even conquered the British level, really.
I know. As Frank Warren just had put out a statement today, just because you beat Chris Eubank, don't get too carried away. Is basically what he said.
He's right. I'm with him on that. Here we go. Richardson Hitchens versus Oscar Duarte. Who do you think wins that fight? There you go. The one I know you want to answer.
I think Hitchens will probably win the fight, but I can see Oscar Duarte winning.
Yeah, young
Hitchens. He's left-handed and right-handed both. He can punch. He's tenacious. He's strong physically. And one thing about Hitchens, he's not a great puncher. So Duarte will be all over him like a cheap suit, knowing the guy can't hurt him.
Correct. Yeah, Hitchens might have to exercise some of those.
What happens is to a fighter that's not brave, that he realizes the guy, he can win the fight. The guy can't punch and he can win the fight. He goes balls out. All of a sudden, he gets brave. Now, you take a guy who's got balls like Oscar Duarte, and he sees the guy can't punch. He's just going to swarm the guy, knowing that the guy can't hurt him.
Correct. You know, and he dealt with a similar style in the Bossman Kenny Sims Jr. So
that was a very good fight.
Very good fight. One of the best fights of 2025 for sure.
Correct.
Well, here's a good one. What about Teofimo Lopez versus Brian Norman Jr. at 47?
Who?
Teofimo Lopez versus Brian Norman Jr. at 147 pounds.
I don't know how much mental baggage either of the guys are going to have from the previous beatdowns they took. You know, their losses. I think Norman, even though he was knocked down, showed less damage in the fight. And I think that Teofimo, even though he didn't get knocked down, he showed more damage. So I got to give a slight edge to Brian Norman in the fight.
Okay. Sure. They both have very polarizing fathers, you know, and people want them to get rid of their fathers.
The other guy Brian Norman's father got his ass fired, so he's not going to be working the corner.
Correct. Yeah, I know. Junior has been with Derek James. He was spotted with Ronnie Shields the other day, so he's looking for a trainer. Looks like. This guy right here, Rick, wants to know from you: do you think we've seen the best of Brian Norman Jr. or can he improve?
He can improve with a new trainer without his father. Absolutely can improve.
Yeah. Who do you think would be a good trainer for Teofimo Lopez if he was to get rid of his father?
Buddy McGirt.
Buddy McGirt. Yeah, Buddy has a long history of turning fighters around after tough losses. Yeah. Why do you say Buddy?
Just for partly that reason. And he's a great teacher. And he's a Hall of Famer. So a fighter would have to respect him.
Correct. He understands the psychology of fighters because he was one at a high level himself.
So. And at a very high level, correct. Two-time world champion and two-division world champ, I should say. And also he's in the Hall of Fame.
Correct. Great fighter. People forget like how great of a fighter he was in his day.
Imagine when he did the Simon. Remember when he did the Simon Brown?
Yes. I do.
Oh my God, that was an ass beating.
It was. Simon Brown couldn't find him. It was a boxing lesson.
He spun him around and then he hit him when he turned him around and smacked him. It went right down. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a classic. Yeah. Simon Brown was a bad boy at 47 too.
Yes, he was.
When is Charles Conwell coming back? He lost a fight and Golden Boy is putting him on.
He had some I don't know if he was surgery, rehab, therapy, something. He was doing something. It was wrong. So he's straightening that out.
Okay. Trying to get healthy again.
No, it wasn't unhealthy. It was something to do with a body part. It wasn't a sickness or an illness. It was something to do with a body part.
Well, they mentioned Conwell. I mean, I know the play is probably matching him up with Virgil, but what about Charles Conwell versus like a Jarrell Ennis if that ever came to fruition?
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't they do that fight? That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, well, what do you think about it as far as style wise, like Charles versus Boots? Does Charles have a chance, you feel, in that fight?
Yeah, I do. He's a short, compact guy who can punch. He will. He's got a great amateur background. Yeah, he does.
Okay. With you being like, because I know for a fact that the Golden Boy still better than me. Who do you feel of the young guys? I mean, besides like Floyd Schofield or Virgil, a name that
Joel Arate. He's a big 147 pounder. He's a lot faster than what's his name was the hand wrap cheat there. What was his name? The guy who lost to Mosley.
Oh, Margarito.
He's a young Margarito type. Can really punch, big for the weight class, great body puncher. Beautiful, puts his punches together nice, and he's got a big future. That kid.
Yeah, a lot of people I've heard good things about Joel. I've seen a couple fights here and there. He looks like got some potential.
Yep, he's real good.
What about that kid? I haven't watched him fight at all. Actually, I just know his name because people keep mentioning his name. Caden Griffith.
He's a young white kid from the Palm Springs, the Coachella Valley area, and he looks real good too. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I hear a lot of things about him. So,
yeah.
My man King of the Great says Conwell is not taking that fight because he's ducked Jarrell Ennis before.
I don't know about that. If he has, it's news to me.
Well, there's this narrative that everyone is ducking Jarrell Ennis, Rick. What do you make of that? I thought that's his rep.
I'll tell you what they're doing. They know a fight is already announced or about to be announced, but it's not announced. It's already signed, and they know it from the zone,
mm-hmm.
and they're going, and they're calling out the fighter to the promoter. Oh, they turned us down. The guy's already signed to fight somebody else. They're doing it intentionally
to bring the illusion that he's this big bad wolf.
Correct.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Jesus Ramos as a 160 pounder?
Not much. Just a
jag, just a guy. Okay. We already touched on Tiger versus Devin. Yeah. What do you think about them fighting though? Tiger Johnson, Devin Haney. If they were to fight anytime soon.
Tiger Johnson is a very talented fighter. He just proved that when he knocked out Nicholas Floss.
Hmm.
but experience-wise, he's not ready for a Devin Haney. But in a year from now, after let's say 3 fights, um, he can win. Yep, he's capable of winning.
Oh, wow. So you give him a chance against Devin Haney.
Yeah.
What what
He take 3 other fights in the meantime, and then fights Haney. He's got a real shot. If he does it now, he doesn't have a prayer.
damn. What is it about what is it about Tiger Johnson that make you say, you know what, he has a chance to beat Devin Haney?
A big amateur background. He was an Olympian. Good, puts his punches together nice. He rises to the occasion. He rises to the occasion. He just rose to the occasion. He looked like just a guy on the ESPN undercard fights. He looked like just a good, warm fighter. Good possible contender. And now he looks like a real contender. And against Nick Floss, who's coming off a lot of knockout wins in a row.
Correct.
So good fighter. So and he just dismantled the guy. So I think he rises to the occasion. And the better the opposition, the harder he trains, the more focused he becomes, and he becomes a real fighter.
Okay, so you mentioned 3 fights before Devin. Let's just say it's 2 fights, and two of those fights are, like, let's say Brian Noman Jr. and Rohan Polanco. How do you think he does in those fights?
Then he's ready.
Yeah.
Then he's ready. But I don't think Top Rank's going to put him in Rohan Polanco. Can't see that.
Well, why not?
Because Rohan Polanco is a guy who is with Gary Hyde, and I just don't think Gary Hyde would do that fight.
Okay. What about him and Brian Noman Jr.?
Yeah, I can happen. Yes.
Do you feel he beats Brian Noman Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
Why?
capable. He's capable of winning because he just got good hand speed and stuff like that. He knows that left hook's going to be coming, so he'll be on the watch for it all night long. Yeah, he knows what to look for.
Okay. Okay. What do you think about Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora? You giving Keith Thurman any chance, Rick? No. Zero.
Put it this way to you. Keith Thurman owed me money right now, we'd be even money.
Damn.
He got no shot.
Is it because of his legs and the inactivity?
Everything. Inactivity, the legs, his fight. Look at his hairline. A good time, bro.
Yeah, it's only his third fight of the new decade, and the decade's more than halfway done.
It's 60% over. He's only had 3 fights. How many fights?
It's the third fight. He fought.
Third fight. He's only had 2 fights.
Yeah, and one of them I can't even really count because one of them was Brock Jarvis.
Come on, Jesus Christ, stop Brock Jarvis.
That's crazy. Well, what is the state of the Golden Boy DAZN deal? They don't have card schedule that doesn't involve a Turkey or co-promotion. They are not running independent shows.
They just did the other day. What was that show 2 weeks ago?
Is it Kudiel and
Yeah, Patpon it turned out to be, but yeah, that was a show that they did with DAZN, and so they're working at it. Let's put it that way to you.
Okay. What do you think about Brendan Adams? I saw Brendan Adams. He got a higher ranking in one of the sanctioning bodies. He looks like he's going to get a big fight this year. What do you think about Brendan Adams against maybe one of the top guys at 54?
I don't think he beats the top guys, the Virgils, those kind of guys. But he's a good fighter. He's vulnerable. In England they call him a good operator. He's a good operator.
A quality operator.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He is.
Okay.
And from whatever he tells me, a good kid.
Oh, he's great. I had a chance to meet him at the WBA convention. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Genuine good guy. No nonsense. He'll fight anyone.
Yep.
Let me see. Do you think, Rick? Do you think that that Anthony Joshua is going to come back to boxing after the accident and all that happened?
I don't know. I think I'm not so convinced he fights Fury. He may come back, for a go weight, because remember he's coming off a loss, isn't he? Did he get knocked out in his last fight with Dubois?
Yeah, his last real fight. Yeah.
I think if he comes back, he'll fight just a ham and egg type fighter and get a win, and then regroup, rethink his career at that point in time, see how he feels, how he looks, and everything else. But I think he'll fight at least one more time. But I think it's going to be a safe fight, and then make a decision from there.
Okay.
Maybe goes out on a win, or maybe goes on to a bigger fight.
Possibly. Okay. Well, I know Fury's fighting Makhmudov on Netflix. I feel like they're bringing him back on Netflix to build towards that fight with Joshua.
Oh yeah, there's no question. There's no question of doing that, but that doesn't mean the fight's going to happen.
Of course.
Fury's got a lot of money. He never spent a lot of money. He's wealthy beyond his ever imagination, and sometimes you lose your drive. You're walking around in pink in silk pajamas. You're sleeping on Egyptian cotton sheets, and you just decide, fuck this. I don't need this.
Have you at any point over the last 30 years lost your drive for the boxing business, Rick, or no?
No, I don't have that kind of money.
If you did, you probably would, right?
No. I love boxing. I love boxing more like money.
Why do you love boxing so much?
I just do. I think I found it fascinating when I was a kid. I went to the Ali Frazier one on March 8, 1971. I went to the closed circuit version in Buffalo. I was met by the sport. It was amazing. How they miss a punch, people jump up and down. They land a punch, people jump up and down. It was great. It was fun to watch just the people. Forget about the fight itself.
Yeah, it's that big fight feeling. You can't recreate it anywhere else in life.
No, can't. No, I've been to the Indianapolis 500. I've been to the Daytona 500. I've been to a lot of great sporting events. And I can honestly say it's nothing like a big fight.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to quite a lot of sporting events myself. It's big fights, particularly those big
Highline Dania doesn't count.
Over there at Fronton Boulevard, Dania Beach Boulevard. Yeah, no. I'm talking about like I've been to like the World Baseball Classic final a couple years ago. I was at that USA.
I'm just kidding, of course.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You guys know. Rick, do you have any idea on why Oscar Collazo is picking Melvin Jerusalem over Pedro Tajuron?
Do I have any idea why?
Yeah, why is Collazo fighting Melvin Jerusalem and not Pedro Tajuron? That's what he wants to know.
Why is what? I'm sorry?
Why is Oscar Collazo deciding to fight Melvin Jerusalem over the IBF champion Pedro Tajuron?
Is that who he's fighting in a rematch?
He's fighting Melvin Jerusalem, yeah.
Again?
That's what they've been saying.
I was at ringside when he took the WBO title from him. He left every time he was knocked down. He left the ground, was flying through the air. My wife says he looks like a UFO. He looks like a Filipino UFO.
Yeah, supposedly they're gonna fight again because Melvin Jerusalem himself went on social media and said, "Yeah, Oscar's gonna fight me because he's too scared to fight the other guy in the division, so I'm gonna fight him again."
I don't buy that he's too scared. Oscar's a big guy, and he can punch and he can box, and he's a complete fighter.
Yeah, Oscar's very good. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the scale of weight classes. Rick, what are your thoughts on Diego Pacheco? Do you have any thoughts on Diego Pacheco?
Yeah, he ain't much.
Is he just a guy? Is he a jag?
Yeah, he's about 5% more than a jag. He's gonna get knocked. I think he gets knocked the fuck out by Shiraz. I think Shiraz is way too fast and too sharp for him.
Okay. Yeah, because I know a lot of 68-pounders that personally, and they all are licking their chops. Like, we want to fight Pacheco, but we just can't get that fight. They don't want to fight us.
Of course.
They're asking you, Rick, are you a Buffalo Bills fan? I know the answer.
Of course. How can you live here and not be a Bills fan?
Correct.
You're ostracized by the whole town. Are you kidding me or what?
Yeah, I know it's been another disappointing season for you guys.
Is what it is. It's fun. I watch.
Yeah.
All I know is our Buffalo Sabres beat your Panthers the other night.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. I didn't appreciate that. But everyone's been beating us. You know, we've been beating everybody up like a drum the last few years. So it's okay that everybody gets their licks back. You know, been in this game.
Everybody's getting even.
Everyone's getting even because the Panthers been back-to-back champs, 3 years in the finals. So
you got 4 more minutes.
All right. I'll make them count. What are your thoughts on Diego Pacheco ducking Christian and Billy and Hamza Shiraz, Rick?
That's what I just said. You can't beat those kind of guys.
Okay. Pacheco is a Canelo opponent in the waiting. Well, they did spar. They were sparring partners at one point.
I don't know. Yeah. I could see that happening.
Let me see. Yeah. What are your thoughts on William Skull getting knocked out by the Danish kid Jacob Bank? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Was bound to happen with somebody. The guy was pathetic. You know, I mean, when he fought Canelo, doesn't have a big heart. I mean, it's bound to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen against Jacob Bank. You know,
yeah,
that's pretty low.
Yeah, because I just know about Jacob Bank because I look at the rankings all the time. So you know, when we look at the rankings, you just know names. You know, even if you never seen them fight. Let me see. Shout out to everybody here on. What do you think, Rick? If Canelo has 3 fights, what do you think will be his last 3 opponents?
Probably Pacheco. Maybe a Crawford fight if he comes back. You know, I think that if he fights next and he fights Pacheco, because that's probably why they pulled him out of the fight with Shiraz. If he fights, you know, and I can see him fighting Crawford, and I think that'd be the end of his career right there. I don't think they'll rebuild again.
Do you think he's going to touch Christian and Billy at all? Is he going to fight Christian and Billy? Because they were no.
I can't see. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he sees something in Billy that he can win. I know, and Billy's wide looping with his punches, so maybe he feels he can cut inside of that. I don't know.
Maybe that'd be a good fight. I think it's a bad fight for him, but if he takes it and wins, that'd be a good way to go out. I feel him beating and Billy to become champion again.
The problem is with those guys, if he wins a fight like that, he won't go out. He'll keep fighting. If he got beat up, then he quits.
Correct. What do you think about Joanna Elise Hernandez, who I mentioned earlier, versus Jahai Tucker? They're going to fight on the Fundora Thurman undercard.
I don't think Tucker's got enough firepower, but we'll see.
Okay. Does Rick have a top 5 heavyweight all-time great list? If so, who is it and who do you pick?
Joe Louis.
Number 1?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right.
Larry Holmes, number 2.
Okay.
Lennox Lewis, number 3. And number 4, Ali. And number 5. Number 5, as of right now, George Foreman. But Usyk may sneak into number 5.
Wow. You got Ali at 4. A lot of people would say you'd be crazy to have, you know, him number 4. Why is he not higher?
He's how many gift decisions did he get?
You said it, not me. I'm glad you said it because when I say it, people say I'm being a hater.
He got a gift with Jimmy Young. He got two gifts with Ken Norton. Okay, I mean the list goes on and on.
I'm glad you said it, and you got the main part right. Joe Louis, number 1.
Mm-hmm. And Mike Tyson's not a top 10 heavyweight, so people got to relax with that shit.
Why is Joe Louis number 1, Rick?
He was a great fighter, and just a great fighter, and he was fast, powerful, and when he was in his prime, nobody could beat him, and he was a great fighter. I mean, yeah, he did lose to what's his name, but he was a great fighter. There's no question. Yeah. He had heart. He had a bit boxing ability. He had tremendous power. He's a great fighter. Everybody can't be wrong. There's truth and quantity.
Prototype boxer puncher. Hell yeah. I have him number 1 too, and I know a lot of people from my generation.
Best fighter of all time overall is Sugar Ray Robinson. Runner-up is Henry Armstrong. the greatest Latino fighter of all time, Roberto Duran.
Correct. Look, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm speaking about. Ali didn't get any gift decision. That's bullshit. Yes, he did.
Please.
Like anybody who says that, like, hasn't actually watched Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, or they're just so biased.
Yeah, like, and I like Ali. I love Muhammad Ali, but like, calm down. What about Rocky Marciano, Rick? Would he be top 10?
Not a top 10 heavyweight.
Man, who would you have over Marciano all time?
Well, the five I just mentioned, may put Usyk 6,
Okay,
Jack Johnson 7. I mean, there's a lot of guys. He would. You think he would have beaten the Klitschko's, especially Vitaly? No.
I personally no, but I remember I remember Don Turner said yeah he would. I had a really infamous interview with Don Turner about 9 years ago, and he went on and on about that.
He was a small guy. Remember, Marciano was a small guy, and even if he was around in this era today, he wouldn't be that big.
Even with like modern nutrition.
Yeah, even with it, it's okay. So he gained 20 pounds. He's still a small guy. These guys are huge.
What my man right here says, Rick, what about Ezra Charles? He beat flat-footed Joe Louis.
He was down 18 times in his career as a light heavyweight and as a heavyweight. Does that sound like qualify for him as a top heavyweight? No.
Who, Marciano or
no? Ezra Charles 18 times in his career.
Yeah, but he beat Joe Louis though, so people will say like, well, he had one great night. You're saying at heavyweight.
Buster Douglas had one great night too.
Correct. All right, Rick. So
go by somebody's overall body of work, not one night of tragedy or not one night. That's like saying that Montel Griffin beat Roy Jones the first time. He did, if you go to the record book. But if you saw the fight, he got DQ'd. He was getting the shit beat out of him, and he got DQ'd.
Correct. So you got to actually watch the fights and look at everything in context. Then do your analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot smarter than I look. A lot smarter than I look.
Yeah, for sure, Rick. But I think that's about it, man. You got any final words?
Glad to be on your show, and I hope it isn't a long time in between. And we just 2 months in a row, coming out once a month and catching up with you. And just a kid from Dania Beach, I'd definitely be interested.
For sure, Rick. Well, this is always home. This is where it started. As far as YouTube. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you, and yeah, hopefully it winds up being an exceptional year for you.
Thank you. And you too. And I will talk to you anytime you like. Okay. Enjoy. Thanks everybody for listening, watching, and doing whatever you do. Have fun. Bye-bye now.
Right. Rick Glaser. Thank you. All right. So there he was, Rick Glaser, coming to you guys. He's been coming on this channel since 2017. I've been interviewing. That's crazy. I've been interviewing Rick Glaser now for almost 10 years. We gotta do it a lot more often, to be honest with you. And if we don't do it for a while, it's my fault. It's always my fault. But it was a pleasure, man. It was really a pleasure to have Rick on. Listen, we're already an hour and a half in, hour and 33 minutes in. So look, we're gonna make it an even 2 hours today. So if y'all got any questions, hold on, guys. Hold on. I got Rick calling me. I'm gonna talk to Rick here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Don't go nowhere. All right, my bad. Rick called the phone, but listen, guys, I wanted to I'm gonna take questions till the end of the to the 2 hour mark. So we're at 1 hour and 34 minutes. So y'all got me pinned down for the next 26 minutes. Make sure y'all smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, super chat, all that blase. Before I even get into any questions you guys might ask, let me just say this. There will be a live fight reaction for Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. I'll be live for that fight. I'm not sure when I'm going to go live. I know the main event starts at 5:15. That's the time that was listed. So expect me to be live around 4 o'clock, 4:30, somewhere around that time. I'm going to schedule it. So we'll definitely be live for Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. It's a big fight for the featherweight division. Nick Ball. It's Nick Ball's fourth defense of the WBA featherweight title, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. A lot of people are giving Brandon Figueroa a big shot. I don't really see it. I think Nick Ball's gonna win on points, but it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good fight, and hopefully after this fight gets done and dusted, we can get to the real fights. I want the unifications. That's what we need. Shout out to my man, Secret Dance Moves. He says, but he is full of shit. Who's full of shit? He said, I've watched every Ali fight, some close fights for sure. He got some gifts. I'm sorry. I love Ali. Ali's a great fighter, but he's a big icon worldwide for what he did outside of boxing. But he did get some gifts. Every fighter gets gifts. He's no different. He got gifts too. BT, being a proud Hawaiian, I'm not Hawaiian. I've never been to Hawaii. Although I'm not against going to Hawaii, I'd love to go to Hawaii. I am from South Florida. I am from, South Florida. the greater Miami, Fort Lauderdale metropolitan area, the Tri-County area of South Florida. So I can't really say much about Hawaii. But if you ask me about South Florida, I can tell you about that. I can tell you about Miami and Fort Lauderdale and things like that. But I appreciate the question. He says, "Oh shit, my apologies." Yeah, I can't speak on any place I haven't been to. So MAW says, "What's more likely, Boots versus the champ Zayas or Kelly, or are we going to see Zayas versus Kelly?" I think we're going to see Zayas versus Kelly. And I told you guys this in my last live earlier in the week. I said, "Look, yeah, sure." There may have been a contract signed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they got to fight. Josh Kelly's a world champion. He's going to have the right to explore the options that he feels are best for him. And guess what? Eddie Hearn, he does promote Jarrell Ennis. But he also promotes Josh Kelly, right? So he's going to do what he feels is in his own best interest as a promoter. So that's what I'm saying. People got mad at me. People got really angry at me when I came on YouTube in late 2024 after Bakram won the title. And I was begging. I was screaming from the mountaintops for Boots to not drag his feet, to do something smart, to get himself in a power position and go fight Bakram and win the IBF title. And when I said that, a lot of the Boots Brigade, a lot of the Jarrell Ennis fans, they said, "Oh, no, BT, you don't understand. You're asking him to do too much. You want to see Jarrell Ennis fail. You want to see Jarrell Ennis fail. All this stuff, like all this. And it's like, no, I thought he was good enough to beat Boots. And by beating Bakram, you would have put yourself in the position that Xander Zayas is now in, which is in a position of strength and power and leverage and the ability to negotiate from a strong position, which would allow you to unify the titles easier and get the fights in your circle. I was looking out for Boots Ennis. See, a lot of times that's how life is, and I've been there myself in my own life. Like sometimes what sounds like hate is actually just someone being real and honest. So when you think someone's hating on you, you should maybe pay attention to what they're saying, because they might not be hating. They might actually be telling you the truth. But anyway, I thought the WBA mandatory is due, and Boots isn't the man. It doesn't matter because the unifications trump the mandatory. So yeah, sure, he may be the mandatory challenger, but if the two champions negotiate a deal to fight in an unification fight, well, he's gonna have to sit there and wait. Go fight Rashidi Ellis, go fight Bakary Samake or whatever what the fuck that guy's name is. Go fight him. Go fight one of them Russian dudes in the rankings. In the meantime, go do the rematch with the Angolan animal Usima Lima. Go do something while you wait. Did I ask Rick about Top Rank is going to get a TV deal? No, I didn't. But he don't got the answer. I don't got the answer. They don't got the answer. Nobody has the answer to what it is exactly that Top Rank is doing next. No one knows. No one knows. Top Rank don't even know. Todd DeBuff don't know. Bob Arum don't know. Brad Goodman don't know. Nobody doesn't know. Shout out to my man Joel. Good to see you, Joel. Hope all is good with you. He says, BT, it's funny at all the Eastern European. I have fun, man. I have fun. People come on here and they think I hate the favorite fighter. Listen, I'm a passionate, spirited boxing fan. I come on here and I have fun with it. So, with the names, yeah. Some of these Eastern European guys, I butcher their names, and it gets to a point where it's like, with some of these Eastern European fighters, like I like Eastern European fighters. Some people used to always say that I had a bias toward them at one point, right? But some of these guys got the most complicated names in the world, and then they don't even stay at the top long enough for me to fully learn their name. So stay at the top long enough so I can learn your name, man. Fundora versus Thurman. Who do you got? Oh man. It's a great fight. I might be there for that fight. We'll see how it goes. But I know Rick was very spirited about the fact that he feels Thurman has no chance, and I know a lot of people that believe that Thurman has no chance. But the odds makers only have him as a 3-1 underdog, and I don't really see it like as this fight. Now if he was if he was fighting a Virgil Ortiz, a Jaron Ennis, even a Xander, even a Bakram, someone younger and fresher and more skillful, I would say, yeah, he's probably not going to win, but he's fighting someone younger for sure. And you could definitely say, more active and all those things. And those things do count. But in the skills department, Keith Thurman is not lacking in this fight. And, I know Fundora had the rematch with Tim Tszyu and he was fighting long and disciplined. I don't believe in Fundora outside boxing ability. I feel like Keith Thurman is quick enough, sharp enough, smart enough to set traps with his feet and land some of the same shots that Brian Mendoza was able to land when he fought. So, really and truthfully, I'm actually going with the upset. I got a video coming out on that soon. So, I'm going with the upset special on that one. Thurman is going to pull a Brian Mendoza like KO on Fundora. Might even be worse. It might. I'm not buying. I've never really been fully bought into Fundora because he's tall. Yeah, he's tough. He's a good action fighter, but he's never learned how to box. Despite all that height and reach, he's never learned how to box. Like, you boxed well against Tim Tszyu, being long, being rangy, but you never. To me, he still never went through the process of fully mastering the sweet science. He's a big, strong, young kid who throws a lot of volume. That's what he is. Maybe that's enough against Keith Thurman. I don't think it is. I think he's gonna have to show, not reinvent the wheel, but I think he's going to have to show something a little bit different this fight if he wants to beat Keith Thurman. But if he doesn't have to and he wins, then fair play to him. Honestly, fair all the credit in the world to him. But I just see it as I just don't see him winning the fight. Joel says, I got y'all the route. Summer 2026 versus Kelly. Rematch low-key of Smith versus Matias. I doubt that. I really doubt that, but that'd be cool. And then in early 2027, Xander Zayas versus Keith Thurman for undisputed. That'd be amazing. And you know what's crazy? I'll throw this caveat in there when it comes to Thurman versus Zayas. Hypothetically, if Xander were to beat Kelly and then Thurman were to beat Fundora and they went straight into undisputed, that's not just for undisputed, but that's also you got Keith Thurman from Tampa, St. Petersburg area versus Xander Zayas from the Tri-County area of South Florida, right? Because he did grow up I know he's Puerto Rican. I know he spent like half his childhood in Puerto Rico, but he spent his adolescent years and a lot of his most important years of learning how to box in South Florida. So he is one of South Florida's very own. So that would also be Tampa versus South Florida for undisputed. So I would like that as well. Boots Ennis is a big disappointment. Well, you know what? He had shout out to Pops. He hasn't his career is not done yet. You know, he can still make good on his career. I don't want to sit here and write the guy out outright because you know one fight can change everything. A lot of people have been comparing him to Floyd Mayweather. Like I had a guy today on Twitter say, "Oh, Floyd Mayweather BT. He didn't get most of his big fights till he was you know in his 30s." And I'm like, Boots Ennis is not Floyd. Boots Ennis is closer to Demetrius Andrade than he is Floyd. And truth be told, I don't think he's as good as Demetrius Andrade. I don't. Andrade fought at a higher level in the amateurs, and you know, in the pros, I mean, he didn't really fight nobody great, but neither has Ennis. So I'll go with the guy who had higher amateur pedigree and has had pretty much the same career as Boots, damn near. I heard Bakram is going to rematch Kelly. He's petitioning for a rematch. He's trying to get a rematch because one of the judges in the 12th and final round scored a 10-10 round, and he didn't like that. He felt like that was bullshit because that cost him the fight. So he wants to get a rematch. I don't think the IBF will go with what he's protesting. I don't think they're gonna actually give him a rematch. But I'll tell you this: I wouldn't be against it. Like I enjoyed the first fight. I thought it was a good fight. I thought the fight had some decent ebbs and flows, and you know who knows? Maybe Bakram in the rematch figures out Josh Kelly, and then boom, then everyone's gonna duck Bakram or Azalia for the next month and a half. Xander versus Thurman got some Tito versus Hopkins flip flow flavor. Thurman being the American trash talker, talking trash. It would sell. It would sell. But on this channel, we're not going to sell it as that. On this channel, we're going to sell it as South Florida versus Tampa because that's what it is, really. Like, you got one guy, Keith Thurman from Tampa and St. Petersburg, Xander from South Florida, you know, Davie, Florida, to be exact, you know. Now that you mention it, Cool K Martiroshian sounds like better wins than what Boots has. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. He's not as good as Floyd, or he's not on that level skill wise or anything like that. His career and the way it's looked and the way it's been moved, it looks more like Andrade. But I don't even think he's on the same caliber of a guy like Andrade. I think Andrade is on a higher level than Boots, and people don't like hearing that. People may say, well, BT, you're just hating on Boots, but Boots wasn't an Olympian. Xander is not from no Florida jit from Puerto Rico. He is from, he was born in Puerto Rico, but at high school and part of middle school, he was in South Florida. Like, Xander, you want to say Xander's okay? See, now y'all don't did it now. See, when you got like, I'll let you guys talk about certain things in boxing and me not like get too crazy about it. But when you start talking about fighters that I literally like, I was at the gym, I seen them as a kid I'm telling you about things that I physically see on my own eyes. No, we're not gonna do that here on True School Sports. When you start talking that South Florida shit, people used to always tell me, "Oh, T.O. is not from South Florida." T.O. is from South. Like T.O. grew up in South Florida, just like Xander Zayas grew up in South Florida. But anyway, look, you're talking to you're not talking. Listen, I'm humble about it, but you guys, you don't be understanding who you're talking to sometimes. Like, yeah, I'm here on YouTube, but I'm a source of boxing. Like, you're talking to the source, because when you go on Google and you type in Xander Zayas, Davie Powell, the Davie Police Athletic League, right? Boom. The first interview you see is my interview with Xander right there from 2019, April 15, 2019. Meet the youngest fighter to ever sign with Top Ring, Xander Zayas, right? I was interviewing Xander 7 years ago when he was 16 years old at the Davie Powell. That being said, undefeated Xander Zayas is a rising junior middleweight star who honed his amateur skills at the Davie Police Athletic League in South Florida. Another Google search, right? Since y'all want to talk that, listen, man. You know Xander Zayas, where did he go to high school? Xander Zayas went to Plantation High School, guys. Look right here, 2019. Actually, no. We won't even go fan side. Let's go to ESPN, because I want you guys to have the best source possible. Y'all, is ESPN a credible source? Forget True School Sports, forget fan side. Is ESPN a credible source? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. This is an article from 2019, but when Top Rank first signed Xander, right? You see him? You see Xander? You see him. All right? Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where does it say it? I know it'll be here because I just saw it. I just saw it in the pre-search. Went to Plantation High School. See, y'all got me worked up now. Now I gotta go find all this because y'all want to talk crazy. Tell me about things that you wasn't even there for. Now I gotta search the whole thing. But anyway, I'm not looking for all that. It says it right there in the pre-search. Look, on the ESPN article. After attending Plantation High School his freshman and sophomore year, Zayas was homeschooled his junior year and the start of his senior year. So there you go. It's in the ESPN article. It's in a bunch of articles. If you don't think Xander Zayas is from South Florida, all you gotta do is go on Google and type in Xander Zayas Davy Powell or Xander Zayas Plantation High School, and you will find out all you need to know about what I'm saying. And if you need further proof, the next live, if I have to, I will go ahead and I will pull up clips of Xander Zayas that I have on this channel from 2019 of me in the gym, boots on the ground, seeing Xander Zayas as a kid. Come on, man. Don't do that. Like, don't speak on things you don't know about. That's what I like from Zayas, BT. He got the PR grit and blood, but his school of boxing is mixed up with more American than your tradition. And I've said this for years. I told my dad this, who's in the chat right now. All right. I told my dad this. A lot of these Puerto Rican fighters from New York City, first of all, the sparring, you can't really get no great sparring in New York City. The New York City boxing scene ain't like that. Let's just be real. All the good fighters from New York City, Richardson Hitchens is probably the only good fighter from New York City at the championship level that still trains in and around New York. But Bruce Carrington don't live in New York. Bruce Carrington live in Vegas. You can't get, so a lot of those New York Puerto Ricans, they don't got no chance. A lot of the Puerto Ricans from the islands, they all fight the same, right? Xander's unique because, like Joel just said, yeah, he's got that grit from not just Puerto Rico, but also from growing up in the South Florida boxing gyms. But he has that American, skill set, so to speak. So I would agree with that. He says, "I'm the president of South Florida. We don't know him." Well, then you wasn't really in South Florida. If you claim to be in them South Florida boxing gyms, if you claim to really be in South Florida and you never crossed paths with Xander Zayas when he was a kid, then you wasn't really in South Florida. I'll tell it to you straight like that. If you claim to be in South Florida, now I don't know what you was doing in 2018, 2019, 2017, 2016. But during a lot of them years, I was in them gyms. I was in the Davey Powell, Flacco's gym, Fifth Street gym, Centeno's Sweatbox gym, Stacey McKinley's gym, the Heavyweight Factory, Delray Beach Boxing Club, Boca Powell, and the list goes on and on and on. Kangaroo Boxing Gym, all them gyms. Xander's from South Florida. Xander's from Puerto Rico. I ain't taking away his Puerto Rican flag or heritage from him. He did grow up there. That's why his accent is still very, very strong, right? But part of his skill set, part of what made him who he is as a fighter came from the South Florida boxing gyms. Training with Javier Centeno at the Davey Powell, them guys, He said, "I heard of you, but not Buddy. I heard of you, not Buddy, though." Oh, hey, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. But he was around. They said this is prime rage, but hey, I'm having fun with it. I'm not even angry. I'm correcting. I'm not yelling. I'm not going off on no one. I'm teaching right now. Where's Don King? Don King's, kicking his feet up, enjoying the fruits of his labor. I guess just enjoying his last few years. He doesn't really put on that many shows. I knew a couple fighters that were signed with Don King that aren't anymore, and they're glad not to be, because if you're a Don King fighter in this day and age, that don't really mean much because he don't really put on those shows. Yeah, Don has some standing with the WBA. But you're not going to be able to really stay active like that, and you're not going to have leverage and those kind of things. So we'll see. Pedro Carbala says, when is the next big fight? The next big fight is a matter of 2-3 hours, or not 2 or 3 hours, 12 to 15 hours from now, I should say, with Nick Ball and Brendan Figueroa. But if excluding tomorrow's fights, I'd probably say, in terms of a big fight, maybe Sugar Nunez versus Navarrete at the end of the month. February 28th. Shout out to Joel. He says, I was disappointed in Medina tonight, BT. Bam would beat him, I think. I didn't watch the fight yet, so I can't comment. Did he get a stoppage at least? Did he at least stop Adrian Curiel? Because Adrian Curiel is a guy who's a smaller guy coming up in weight. His punching power shouldn't be able to carry up to 118. So am I saying that New York City boxing is dead? Damn near. I mean, look, Bruce Carrington is one of their two. They have two world champions. They have Richardson Hitchens and they have Bruce Carrington. One of those guys in Carrington does not train in New York. He doesn't train in New York. He don't spar in New York. He's in Vegas. And he even said it himself. I can't get no really good sparring in New York, so that's why I came to Vegas, right? Hitchens is the only champion from New York that still trains in New York, right? There hasn't, because of the economy and the property rates and inflation across New York, the taxes. A lot of the New York City boxing gyms from the 90s, in the early 2000s and the 80s, a lot of them gyms is closed. There's not a lot of big time gyms in the New York City area. You got you got Atlas Cops and Kids, you got Gym X, you got what else? What Atlas Cops and Kids and Gym X, and I mean, Gleason's is still around, but Gleason's isn't really a place that's producing top tier talent. It's more of a fitness and boutique gym, because if you go to Gleason's gym, it's in the Dumbo part of Brooklyn, and the Dumbo part of Brooklyn has had a lot of development over the years, a lot of gentrification, them kind of things been going on over there. So, a lot of people in them gyms are not even really top level fighters when you go to Gleason's gym. I've been to Gleason's gym plenty of times for media workouts. I was just at Gleason's gym less than a month ago for the Dalton Smith and Matias workout. When I walked in there, yeah, there was people in there training, getting their little sweat on, but not a whole lot of high level fighters are at Gleason's gym these days. So when you really look at it, of course, it's not dead, because there's still gyms that are operating. There's still good fighters that come out of New York, but it's not like what it was, in the 20th century. I'll put it to you like that. So are you saying that South Florida boxing is more competitive than New York boxing? Yeah, yes. Are you crazy? Xander Zayas and Teofimo Lopez are both products of South Florida boxing gyms. And even if you want to go back before that, I mean, Glenn Johnson was the fighter of the year in 2004. He came from South Florida. Randall Bailey was a 2-division champion. He came from South Florida. And I'm sure there's other examples I could give you, but I can't think of any more off the top of my head. But in this century, I would say yes, 1,000%. A lot of fighters come to South Florida to spar. Top fighters, I know people may not believe that, and they may say, well, BT, you're being biased. I'm telling you the truth. There's more work. There's more boxing gyms in South Florida than New York. There's more. I can just across the Tri-County area, I can name you so many gyms with so much different work. New Jersey and Philly better, but Shakur is training in Vegas. Well, nah. If you're a top level fighter, the best place to be in the world, I feel, is one of the best places in the world. I won't say there's a specific best place, but one of the best places in the world to be for boxing, period, is Las Vegas. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because you got a lot of high level gyms out there. You got so many fighters from around the world that fly in just to get sparring. So if you spend enough time in Vegas, you will eventually see every style. You'll get fighters from Japan that fly into Vegas, Latin America, England. I mean, just yesterday we saw Carmel Moulton and Giorgio Visoli arguing at Top Rank. That's UK and USA, right? And that gym alone, I mean, I could go on and on about all other gyms in Vegas, but just that gym alone, just Top Rank gym alone you'll be able to get crazy work just at the Top Rank gym. I'm gonna tell you this, man. Like New York City, in my whole life watching boxing, New York City has never been. I don't want to say never, but like it's just the thing is, I know about New York boxing because Pistol Pete Dobson's a New York fighter. He's a friend of mine. Like he's talked to me about the New York boxing scene. So talking to him and other fighters that I know in New York, and then going there for myself. Listen. There's not a lot of gyms in New York City these days. There's not. But everything goes through in its cycles. I know, like in the '80s, Miami was big for boxing because like you had like Berto Duran was down in Miami, Michael Nunn, Arguello, Sugar Ray Leonard did a lot of his camps in Miami. Bernard Hopkins would do a lot of his camps in Miami because I know Bernard has a house out in Miami. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let me see. Yeah, maybe like in the 70s or the 80s or maybe like the 70s or the 60s, but nah, man. But anyway, on that note, guys, look, I'm gonna wrap it up because I got other things I gotta attend to and I gotta get some rest for tomorrow's live. But listen, shout out to Rick Glaser for coming on. Shout out to all you guys for joining us. It was a great live, so I appreciate everyone here. We're on our way now to 100,000 subscribers. We hit that 90,000 a week ago, so I'm looking forward to just chipping away and get my plaque soon. But yeah, there will be a live for the Nick Ball fight tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that and definitely just keep supporting the channel. And I'm gonna keep doing my best for you guys and getting these interviews and giving you guys great content. I'll be going to Vegas for that Barios Garcia fight, and then after that, I will be going to training camp with my main man, 50 grand, the best featherweight in the world, Angelo Leo. So we got some great things in store for you guys. But listen, you guys take care. God bless. God bless your family. All that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next live. Take care.